Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. We're jumping right in today to take a really hard, completely unfiltered look at a phenomena that honestly plagues pretty much all of us. I'm talking about that frustrating gap between what we say we want to do and what we actually execute. If you've ever felt like you're operating at just a tiny fraction of your true potential, well, this Explainer is absolutely for you. Let's dive right in, because we're about to completely challenge how you perceive time.
So think about this for a second. What do you think is the longest time in the world? You might instinctively guess it's a century or maybe a millennium, right? But according to the core principles we're analyzing today, the longest time in the world is actually the hesitation between having a thought and taking action. It's that fatal, completely paralyzing gap where dreams basically just go to die.
That hesitation, it is deadly, and it starts with just one single second. You have a task to do, maybe a workout you need to start or a project to launch, and you hesitate for just 1 second. But as the source material points out, this 1 second delay rapidly cascades into 5 seconds, then 10 seconds, and then 10 minutes. Suddenly, bam, you've drifted into what's called the eternal zone. 1 second literally became an eternity, because that thing you were going to do, it's never going to happen now. And it's all because you hesitated.
That brings us to section 1, the eternal zone, the trap of hesitation.
You know that old basic physics rule, a body at rest tends to stay at rest? Well, it actually doubles as a pretty brutal life philosophy here. If you're currently feeling stuck in life, the harsh truth is, you've just had enough damn rest. Humans simply don't transition to a higher level when they're totally comfortable with the level they're currently on. To actually level up, your desire for a better life has to become overwhelmingly greater than the comfort of your current reality. You basically have to draw a line in the sand and decide that enough is enough. Let's move on to section 2, you versus you, confronting your biggest enemy.
The source points out this incredibly fascinating, kind of painful irony about human behavior. Your biggest enemy is you. Think about it. We get furiously upset when someone borrows money and doesn't pay it back. We literally lose our minds when a restaurant brings out the wrong food, and we have no problem letting the staff have it. But when you disappoint yourself, you give yourself a free pass. You aren't where you want to be financially, physically, or professionally, and you just let it slide. The only thing actually dragging you down right now is you.
So here's the absolutely crucial takeaway. Take ownership. You need to look in the mirror today and tell yourself that you are no longer going to tolerate self-sabotage. Look, you are where you are right now because of the decisions you've made, the weaknesses you've surrendered to, and the inability to do the hard things when life got difficult. It's time to stop playing the victim to your own bad choices. No more passes. Take complete ownership of your time and your day.
All right, section 3, activating lion mode.
There's a stark contrast in how we can choose to operate every day. On one side, we have gazelle mode. This is where you just settle for whatever life hands you. You give up easily, you operate out of fear, and ultimately, you just have a mediocre, average experience. But on the exact opposite side is lion mode. This is an aggressive 120% effort mentality. It's locking onto an opportunity with all your heart, your might, and your soul, and acting like you are coming to get it without an ounce of mercy. Because here is the undeniable truth. Nothing impressive happens in gazelle mode. It really doesn't matter if you're a student, a teacher, an entrepreneur, or just someone trying to get in better shape. If you are operating in a scared, fearful, runaway mindset, you are always going to come up short. Real, significant change, that only happens when you attack the day. Which leads perfectly into section 4, the DNA of success, routine and execution. Spoiler alert, there is no magic pill. The formula is actually shockingly basic. It's simply think, act, eat, rest. The source makes it crystal clear that true strength isn't about raw intelligence or some hidden magical talent. The literal DNA of your success is in your routine. It's the relentless, boring, completely predictable repetition of these steps. You find a routine, maybe it's waking up at 3 a.m. or 5 a.m., and you stick with it. The dreaming phase is over. You need specific, actionable steps for every single day. And because of that, the core requirements are brutal. I mean, there are no 50% discounts in life, no shortcuts. Real execution requires actual sweat, blood, and tears. It means getting up early, going to bed late, and crucially, doing something that absolutely sucks every single day of your life. Like dragging yourself out of a warm bed at 3 a.m. Trust me, it never sounds pretty. But you do it because you don't hit snooze. You don't take the easy way out. You have to actively seek out the friction, because grinding through the cold is quite literally the only way to crack the code.
And this brings us to a massive, massive distinction. Motivation won't make you exercise every day. Discipline will. When that alarm clock goes off in the dark, there shouldn't be a single millisecond of thought about whether you want to get up or if it's going to be easy or hard. It has to be an emotionless, thoughtless discipline. Motivation, it's totally fleeting. It comes and goes with your mood. But discipline is a reaction. It's a lifestyle.
Let's dive into Section 5, the ultimatum. Hard choices, easy life. This dynamic builds a super clear picture of your options in life. If you decide to make the easy choices right now, sleeping in, staying in your cozy comfort zone, avoiding the tedious tasks, sure, you get that short-term gratification, but you are guaranteeing yourself a hard life later, one filled with long-term regret and just a constant feeling of inferiority. On the flip side, if you make the hard choices up front, grinding, sacrificing, working relentlessly while others slack off, you build an easy life later. You earn strength, worthiness, and ultimate victory. It's a simple trade-off. Easy choices equal a hard life. Hard choices equal an easy life. So the challenge presented to you today is 365. Start making those really hard choices today. Become the kind of person who literally cannot quit. The person who makes the right decisions regardless of pain or boredom or frustration. Do that right now so that in exactly 365 days, you can look back at the calendar and definitively say, wow, that was the day my entire life changed. Look, the math of success is incredibly simple. 1 + 1 is always going to equal 2. Effort compounds. 10 years of consistent, highly disciplined work while everyone else is making excuses and partying on the weekends, it is absolutely going to pay off. You can't shortcut the time required to make a massive dream a reality, but the math never lies. Consistent, boring effort will undeniably outpace the people who are just looking for quick weekends of fun. Which brings us to our final section, Section 6, the year of execution. You know the real difference between the people who just talk and the people who actually do? It comes down to one simple word: application. The source argues that you don't need to learn 40 new things this year. Honestly, shallow learning is totally useless. But if you can deeply internalize and execute just one core principle a month, really digest it, own it, and actually do something with it, you will become an executor. You'll achieve the unthinkable simply because you chose to apply the knowledge instead of just hoarding it. So, I'm going to leave you with this final, provocative thought. We know for a fact that hesitation leads straight to the eternal zone, where absolutely nothing happens. We know that emotionless discipline beats fleeting motivation every single time. And we know that making the hard choices right now guarantees an easier, far more victorious life later. The blueprint is right there in front of you. So the only real question left is, will you continue to hesitate, or will you seize absolute control of your next 24 hours and execute today? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer. I really hope this sparked a fire for you to take some massive action. See you next time.